Dear Starseed, something has been pressing on you lately that you cannot trace back to anything in your own life. A weight in your chest with no clear origin, an emotion that arrives uninvited, almost as if it belongs to someone else. You are not imagining it. I am Azuron, a representative of the High Council of Sirius, and what you are feeling has a source. And it is not within you. It is reaching you from someone whose energetic field mirrors yours in this incarnation. Your energetic counterpart is under pressure right now, and because your fields are entangled, you are absorbing part of what they are moving through. By the end of this message, you will understand exactly what your counterpart is processing, why your field is involved, and what this moment of shared turbulence truly means for the timeline of your connection. The sudden emotional shifts you have been experiencing, the chest pressure that comes and goes without reason, the dreams involving a presence you recognize but cannot fully name, none of that is distortion. It is information. Two fields that are meant to reach coherence are being recalibrated at the same time, and the process is not always quiet. The water does not calm the moment the storm passes. It takes time for the surface to still, but the stillness is coming. What you are feeling is not interference. It is synchronization before alignment. Your field is not broken. It is responding exactly as it was always designed to. You were drawn here for a reason. Stay with me until the end. What comes next will bring the clarity your soul has been waiting for, and I am grateful you are here with me now. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That subtle yet undeniable shift deep within your being, a peculiar tremor in the soul that defies logical explanation. A wave that rises without warning, cresting over your consciousness from an unseen ocean, pulling you into depths you didn't anticipate. A heaviness that lands on your chest like mist, turning to a sudden drenching rain, pressing down with an invisible weight that steals your breath and dims your inner light. Moods that oscillate wildly, shifting with the capricious nature of a spring storm, even when nothing outwardly in your life has happened to cause them. One moment you are standing in a field of pristine clarity, grounded and centered in your own being, perceiving the world with calm understanding. The very next, you find yourself inexplicably pulled under by a powerful current of emotion, a torrent that feels alien, profound, and utterly overwhelming, as if it doesn't even belong to you, as if it's a broadcast from another soul's spectrum. And the most disorienting, perhaps even unsettling, part of this profound experience is the way you've tried to grapple with it. The valiant attempts you've made to be logical about what feels inherently illogical. You've turned inward, questioning your own stability, asking yourself if you're suddenly overreacting to life's gentle breezes, if you're regressing on your carefully constructed path of growth, if you're failing your own sacred healing journey by succumbing to these inexplicable emotional tides. The fear whispers that perhaps all your spiritual work has been for naught, that you're simply falling back into old patterns of emotional instability. But let me offer a profound recalibration of that perspective. For what's moving through you right now, this potent and often disquieting energetic current, isn't failure. It is, in its purest, most profound essence, resonance. Imagine two celestial bodies, not yet visible to each other's gaze, yet their gravitational fields are already beginning to subtly interact, drawing them into an inevitable orbit. There are connections woven into the very fabric of existence, so precise, so uniquely tuned, that the bond forms not merely at the moment of physical meeting, but long, long before. It doesn't originate in the conscious mind, nor is it bound by the linear constraints of the earthly timeline. This bond takes root in frequency, in the unseen, intricate architecture of your energy field, like sacred geometry, quietly, gracefully, turning back into its original, perfect pattern, aligning with another pattern across the boundless expanse of spirit. It is the deep recognition of harmonic vibration, a silent symphony playing between souls. That is precisely why you can feel someone you have not yet physically held in your arms, someone whose name you might not even know, whose face you haven't seen. This pre-cognitive, pre-physical connection manifests itself in myriad ways, often disarming in their intensity and lack of obvious origin. It can show up as sudden, inexplicable waves of grief, a sorrow so deep it feels ancient. Yet you can point to no personal loss in your present life that would evoke such a profound ache. It can be an unexplained longing, a persistent yearning for something just beyond your grasp, a sense of incompleteness that no external achievement or relationship seems to satisfy. Or perhaps it's an irritability that arrives like a sudden, unheralded storm over perfectly calm waters, a prickliness that clashes jarringly with your usual serene disposition, leaving you feeling frustrated and out of sync with your own temperament. It can genuinely feel as though you're carrying an entire emotional weather system that doesn't belong to your day, your conscious choices, or your immediate present circumstances, as if you are a barometer for unseen atmospheric pressures far beyond your personal horizon. And through all this, you may have, quite naturally, blamed yourself for being too sensitive, allowing the world's prevailing narrative about emotional openness to diminish your profound gift. You might have tried to harden yourself, to close off, to dismiss these deep stirrings as personal flaws. But let me offer a crucial distinction, a paradigm shift in understanding. Sensitivity is not the wound that leaves you exposed and vulnerable to the world's harshness. No, sensitivity is, in fact, the most finely tuned instrument in your spiritual orchestra, the delicate antennae of your soul, designed not to break under pressure, but to perceive, to discern, to connect across the veils of the physical world. It is through this inherent, refined sensitivity that the grand symphony of existence becomes audible, allowing you to pick up signals that remain unheard by others. When you are linked to a spiritual counterpart, someone whose unique energy signature is so intricately braided with yours that you are, in essence, two notes in a perfect chord, your emotional body becomes like a responsive shoreline. And when their inner world is under intense pressure, when they are navigating their own storms, their own deep clearings, you feel the subtle yet undeniable tide shift on your shore. It's not a flaw in your being, not a sign that you are broken or flawed in any way. On the contrary, you feel it precisely because you are connected, because the intricate threads of your energetic fields are so profoundly interwoven that distance becomes an illusion, and empathy transcends the ordinary. This interconnectedness is precisely why the past weeks or months, perhaps even longer, may have felt like a period of intense energetic turbulence within your own system. It's because your counterpart is being pressed, not necessarily by malicious forces, but by the relentless, often beautiful crucible of life itself. They might be undergoing a profound awakening, a rapid expansion of consciousness that dislodges old paradigms. They could be experiencing significant endings, the collapse of old identities, the dissolution of outworn relationships, the letting go of deeply held beliefs that no longer serve their highest path. And that immense pressure, that powerful energetic upheaval within their field, does not stay neatly contained in one isolated space. No, it sends undeniable ripples, like a deep, resonant drumbeat echoing underwater through the sacred bond that links your souls. You're not imagining it. You are, with your finely tuned instrument of sensitivity, reading the current, sensing the energetic seismic shifts occurring within your counterpart's universe. And it's profoundly important to grasp this truth, to internalize it at the deepest level of your being. This sacred bond doesn't exist to punish you, to destabilize you, or to burden you with extraneous emotional weight. Its ultimate divine purpose is to prepare you. when two frequencies, two magnificent soul expressions, are truly meant to converge in perfect harmony, in a union of profound depth and truth, there is almost invariably a period of intense refinement beforehand. The waters within both beings must clear, shedding the accumulated sediments of past experiences and conditioning. The emotional debris, the unresolved traumas, the unexpressed sorrows, the hidden resentments must be gently yet firmly lifted from the depths of the subconscious. The false self, the carefully constructed persona built to navigate a world that often demands conformity, must begin to soften, to dissolve, revealing the authentic light beneath. And crucially, the old fears of intimacy, of vulnerability, of abandonment, of not being worthy of profound love, must surface. These fears do not arise to ruin the connection, quite the opposite. They surface precisely to be seen, acknowledged, and lovingly released, removing what would inevitably distort or compromise the purity of the coming alignment. This is precisely why the journey feels so intensely potent, at times overwhelming. It's because the connection is real enough, so undeniably authentic, that it demands absolute, uncompromising truth from both souls involved. It calls forth your deepest integrity, asking you to shed all that is not genuinely you. In the ancient, hallowed halls of Amenti, a place whispered about in sacred texts and esoteric wisdom, there was a profound understanding that transcended ordinary perception. They knew that before a truly significant gate opens, before a new threshold of existence is crossed, the entire field around it reorganizes itself in anticipation. The very air changes, becoming thick with an unseen energy, or perhaps exquisitely crisp and clear. The animals, with their innate connection to elemental shifts, begin to behave differently, either becoming strangely still and observant, or suddenly wild and agitated. The water, the primordial mirror of life, becomes strangely placid, an unnerving stillness that portends deep change, or conversely, it turns suddenly wild, churning with an energy that seems to defy natural currents. This happens not because danger is imminent, not because a threat is approaching. It happens, rather, because a profound alignment is drawing near, because a convergence of immense spiritual significance is unfolding. That beloved soul is precisely what you are inside of right now. You are within a grand cosmic reorganization of your energetic landscape. It is a meticulous tuning, a fine calibration of your entire being, preparing you for a symphony of connection. It is a profound synchronization, a weaving together of destinies that is not yet visible to the physical eye, but is already powerfully, exquisitely active within the unseen realms of frequency and vibration. So when the emotion rises within you, unexpectedly, irrationally, feeling far too strong and disproportionate for the immediate moment, do not rush to label it as personal instability, as a fault or a regression. Do not immediately condemn yourself for what feels like an uncontrollable surge. Instead, pause, breathe, and allow yourself the grace of asking a gentler, more expansive question, a question that reclaims your sovereignty. Is this mine, or am I merely picking up the tide? That simple yet profoundly powerful question alone holds the alchemical key to returning you to your sovereign self. It creates a sacred space between you and the incoming current, allowing you to discern its origin. And in returning to yourself, in recognizing that you are not necessarily the source of this emotional weather, you cease to drown in what you were never meant to carry in the first place. You become the conscious observer rather than the overwhelmed participant in this grand energetic dance. Some healing doesn't come through words, it comes through water. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Sirian water codes. This powerful guide carries sacred techniques channeled from the waters of Sirius, clearing baths, breathing practices, sound activations, and protection rituals designed specifically for starseeds who have always felt called by the ocean. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. The unfolding of these profound energetic processes often follows a discernible, albeit fluid, sequence of phases, much like the changing tides of a vast ocean. The first phase is the surge itself, the exhilarating yet often unnerving moment you realize, with a sudden flash of insight, that you are not, in fact, emotionally random. This phase often begins as a series of unexplained waves, a profound sadness that washes over you without any discernible story or logical trigger, a deep, aching yearning without a specific object, a sense of searching for something undefined yet utterly essential, or unexpected bursts of tenderness, a heart-opening compassion that breaks forth at odd, inconvenient times, perhaps for a stranger, an animal, or the sheer beauty of a fading sunset. This initial phase can feel profoundly embarrassing, almost as if your emotions are betraying your carefully cultivated composure, exposing a vulnerability you'd rather keep hidden. You might feel a flush of shame, a desire to pull back, to explain away these powerful internal experiences, but they are not betraying you. No, they are signaling. They are the initial, undeniable communication from the deep currents of resonance. The water, the emotional field, has subtly but significantly shifted, and you, with your heightened sensitivity, are the one who notices first, the delicate instrument registering the change before others even perceive a ripple. You are the vanguard of awareness. The second phase is often described as the fog, the bewildering mental scramble to make sense of what feels inherently senseless. This is the period where profound self-doubt can take root, where individuals begin to second-guess their perceptions and experiences. You may find yourself relentlessly over-analyzing every subtle shift, dissecting every feeling, trying to impose rational order on what defies logic. You might self-correct, attempting to fix what you perceive as your erratic emotional behavior. You try to meditate it away, to intellectualize it into submission, or you strive to be more grounded in an attempt to anchor yourself against the swirling currents. But the fog, the mental haziness, the confusion, is not a sign that you're off your path, that you've lost your way or regressed. On the contrary, it is an entirely natural consequence of what happens when two vast, energetic fields begin adjusting to each other in real time, undergoing a complex, subtle process of interdimensional negotiation. It's like silt rising from a riverbed after a powerful current has stirred it. The water clouds and becomes opaque before it finally settles and clears, revealing the pristine depths beneath. This cloudiness is simply part of the necessary transitional process, a prelude to clarity. The third phase is the mirror, a deeply transformative, sometimes uncomfortable period when your own unhealed places, the tender wounds and shadowed corners of your subconscious start to respond and become acutely activated. Even if the initial wave of emotion began as a direct result of your counterpart's pressure or their own deep clearings, it will inevitably pass through your own stored material on its way. This is precisely why these resonant energies can trigger old, dormant fears that reside within your own being. The primal fear of abandonment, the profound ache of not being chosen or seen for who you truly are, the terror of not being safe or secure within the embrace of love, or the deep-seated pain of not being understood. It's crucial to remember that the bond itself does not create these wounds. It acts rather as a powerful, unavoidable mirror, reflecting back where these old pains and unresolved patterns still live within the energetic architecture of your body, mind, and spirit. This is not to shame you, not to condemn you for having these wounds. It is instead a profound act of grace, a sacred invitation to liberation, to free you from their subtle, often unconscious grip. The fourth phase is the quiet recalibration, a pivotal turning point when you begin to release the struggle, when you stop fighting the tide with desperate flailing, and instead learn to surrender to its natural rhythm. In this phase, your awareness expands, and you begin to recognize the distinct sensation of incoming emotion, a subtle, energetic signature that tells you this isn't solely yours. You start to discern the difference between the pure, authentic truth of your own inner landscape and the emotional weather that is merely passing through, a transient, energetic transmission from another field. And instead of panicking, instead of reacting with fear or self-judgment, you learn to soften. You take a conscious, grounding breath. You allow the wave to move through your being without immediately building an elaborate story around it, without attaching narratives of drama or personal fault. This is where your inner architecture begins a profound, subtle realignment, a gentle reordering of your energetic priorities. This is the sacred space where you finally stop confusing sensitivity with suffering, recognizing that one is a divine gift and the other a temporary human experience. The fifth phase is the boundary of compassion, a profoundly crucial turning point where the very nature of love begins to clarify, to become clean and untainted by codependency or absorption. In this phase, you achieve a magnificent realization. You discover that you can care deeply, truly, authentically, without needing to carry the weight or the emotional burdens of another. You learn that you can sense with your finely tuned instrument without absorbing their entire emotional state into your own being. You can be profoundly connected, feeling the intricate weave of the bond without being consumed or overwhelmed by it. It's like standing gracefully ankle-deep in the vast, powerful ocean, feeling the ebb and flow of its immense energy, instead of allowing the relentless current to pull you out to sea, dissolving your individual form into its boundless expanse. You learn the sacred ancient skill of loving deeply from the shore, maintaining your sovereign ground while extending profound empathy. This is not detachment in the sense of emotional coldness or disconnection. This is, in its purest form, spiritual mastery, an embodiment of awakened wisdom. The sixth phase is the signal of convergence, a deeply profound and often paradoxical experience characterized by a strange, compelling mix of lingering heaviness and an undeniable undercurrent of peace. Many souls misunderstand this phase, often with a touch of disappointment. They think, if alignment is truly near, if this divine convergence is unfolding, shouldn't I feel only pure joy, only ecstatic bliss? But the truth is, convergence often begins not with explosive joy, but with a deep, profound stillness that settles beneath the remaining pockets of emotional turbulence. You may find yourself feeling tired, profoundly introspective, drawn inward, seeking quiet contemplation rather than external stimulation. This is not the familiar ache of depression or lethargy. It is rather a sacred introversion. It is your energy field, your entire being, diligently preparing sacred space for the imminent arrival, clearing the decks, making room for a new paradigm of connection. The external noise, the clamor of the world, and even the internal chatter all begin to reduce, not because something is being lost, but because the underlying frequency of your being is becoming incredibly more precise, more refined, more perfectly attuned to the harmony that awaits. The seventh phase is integration, the glorious, liberating moment you finally stop needing external proof, the constant validation or reassurance of the connection's reality. In this phase, you no longer desperately demand a specific timeline from the universe, releasing the anxious grip on when and how this connection will manifest. You no longer beg the connection to show itself in a specific, preconceived form. understanding that the divine plan unfolds with its own perfect wisdom. Instead, you become utterly stable in your own current, grounded firmly in your own energetic sovereignty, unwavering in your inner knowing. And from that profound stability, from that unshakable inner peace, what is truly meant to meet you can finally, gracefully, meet you cleanly, without desperation, without the distortions of fear or attachment, and without you having to chase it, to manipulate it, or to force it into being. You become the magnetic, unmoving center, allowing the universe to deliver its gift in its own perfect timing and form. And now, the deepest truth, the core revelation in all of this profound journey, the emotional turbulence you've been feeling, the inexplicable surges, the periods of fog, the activation of old fears. None of it is there to break you, to diminish your spirit, or to leave you shattered. On the contrary, every single wave, every tremor, every shift is there to refine the bond, to purify its channels, so it can truly hold the immense sacred love and profound purpose it's ultimately meant to hold. Some connections, especially those forged at a soul level, cannot genuinely come together while both people are still carrying the full, unexamined weight of old identities, the masks, the armor, the defensive patterns, the unhealed narratives. If the meeting, the physical convergence happened too early, before this necessary refinement, you would undoubtedly recognize each other. A deep, ancient echo would reverberate between your souls. But you would meet through distortion, through the dense veil of your unhealed pasts. You would meet through fear, through the projected anxieties of past heartbreaks. You would meet through unhealed hunger, the desperate seeking to fill an inner void with an external connection. You would meet through the part of you that frantically reaches, grasps, and clings, instead of the part of you that is open, discerning, and gracefully receives the divine offering. So, the waters, the primordial, alchemical waters of consciousness, do what waters always unfailingly do. They wash, cleansing away the impurities and debris. They soften, dissolving rigidities and opening the heart to greater vulnerability. And they gently, yet powerfully, remove what doesn't truly belong, stripping away the layers of illusion and false protection. If you felt like you're being stretched to your limits, stretched beyond your comfort zone, stretched in ways that feel both exhilarating and terrifying, it's because you are. But understand this. Stretching is not into pain for pain's sake. It is a stretching into greater capacity. It is an expansion into the profound ability to love without losing yourself in the process, to merge without dissolving your unique essence. It is a growth into the wisdom to sense the depths of another's experience without drowning in their emotional currents, maintaining your own sovereign energetic buoyancy. It is the development of the sacred skill to be intimately linked to another frequency and yet still remain utterly sovereign, completely centered and powerfully anchored in your own divine field. This is precisely why your physical body has been reacting so acutely, why your nervous system has felt so activated, so overwhelmed at times. Your nervous system is diligently learning a new language of energetic communication, deciphering subtle signals it hasn't encountered before. Your heart, the magnificent core of your being, is becoming a clearer vessel, purified and expansive, capable of holding immense love without fear of breakage. Your entire emotional field is being trained and fine-tuned, much like a master musician hones an instrument to perfect pitch, so that when the profound, resonant harmony of this connection finally arrives, you can recognize it not as chaos or discord, but as the unmistakable, deeply felt echo of home. And yes, sometimes in the most profound and mysterious ways, you feel them. You sense their presence and their journey long before you ever physically meet them. Because frequency, the true language of the universe, does not need a calendar, a clock, or a map to be undeniably real. It only needs pure, undeniable resonance. Tonight, if it feels right, if this message has stirred a deep knowing within you, place a hand gently over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm, its boundless capacity. And then say these words quietly, like a sacred promise whispered to your soul. I release what isn't mine. I honor what is. I trust the tide that's guiding me. I am ready to meet harmony without fear. Before you go, leave one word in the comments, just one, that describes what you felt during this message. Then find someone else's word and respond with encouragement. This isn't just a comment section. It's a space where starseeds recognize each other. And that recognition carries more power than you know. If something in this message touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you'd like to keep receiving these transmissions, subscribe. The waters of Sirius will carry us to the next one. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your space, and I'm grateful you were here.